Welcome everyone to the channel. I just want to say I appreciate you guys being here for just a couple minutes of your day. I appreciate you guys. So this is a video called paperback versus hardcover. Now when I say paperback, I mean like the full-size paperbacks are like the same size as hardcovers except they're paperbacks. And then I got regular paperbacks which are a little smaller. And then I got mass paperbacks, all versus hardcover. And I always sit back and think, because I see a lot of people always talk about which one they prefer. So I was like, I want to make a video and talk about what I prefer. So we're going to start off with the least favorite one that everyone hates, I feel like. And that's mass paperbacks. I don't understand, by the way, bought this at a antique store, which is sick because I wanted to read this anyways. And look at it, it's a mass paperback. Mass paperbacks, these are the most handy books, no pun intended, because they're like the size of my hand. So there's that. These are the most handy ones, I think. I personally like mass paperbacks. They're way easier to like put on the shelves. I literally have a pile of like 25 books on the bottom of my shelf. They're all mass paperbacks, and I still have room on that shelf because they're all like this sideways, and it's just like convenient to throw them there. It just makes my life much easier. I do prefer mass paperbacks. I think they're the most convenient ones of all of them. I don't see why. I think people say they don't like them because like they're super easy. So when you bend them, the spine will crease, which is gonna happen with any paperback. I feel like that's just me. But with mass paperbacks, they're pretty handy. And I think most people don't like them because they're like super small and they don't look nearly as good. And usually the covers are not that good. But to me, I don't really care. I just want to read the book. So like, I don't know, I like mass paperbacks. I think they're great. And you got like regular size paperbacks. This is Bride from Alia Hazelwood, almost called Hazelwood, whatever. I've never read her, so there's that. This used as well for like $4. Used books are the best books. This is like regular paperbacks. I actually don't mind these ones. I sit back and try to think of like the most books I kind of read are usually like hardcovers or mass paperbacks. So these ones I usually read if I mean, like, when I buy a book, I'm not like, oh man, it has to be this one. I usually just buy whatever just looks appealing, and this was the first thing I bought. And I mean, this might be like a thing for a lot of you guys, might not like this, but for me, these books, sometimes I'll read them like this. Ooh, yeah.
Oh my god!
It's nice because the spines do not crack from these, which is nice. Like mass paperbacks are the only ones that do crack the spine. But it's like, it gives it character. It gives it so much character. These don't have characters after you read them. You can finish reading this book and no one will know if you actually read it unless you like do this, which I don't do all the time, but there's times where I do that, and I don't know. After I'm done and the book's like all weird looking and everything after, I usually just put it in the shelf and press other books to it, and it's usually fine after. And that's like my thing when I read these kind of books. I don't really think too deeply about it. So the last paperback one I like to call it is the floppy. And that's these. These are floppy.
Yeah, boy.
And they're like the same size as like hardcovers. But look at these things. Oh, this is a good example. But they're like floppy. You know? And those are really good. I actually like these ones too. I like all of them. I don't have a problem with any of these kind of books I read, but I'm going to show you guys each one and I'll talk about each one. And then after, I'll give the pros and cons of like the mass of just paperbacks versus hardcovers after. I just want to show examples. I like these ones. I don't remember what these ones are called. I call them paperbacks. I call all these paperbacks, but these are like the nice ones where they're like nice and it's like wings, like a bird's wings, especially when you get like thicker ones. Fake ones, and you can just go like, there you go, just like this. I don't have too many of those because I don't know. Most of the ones usually like these, they usually end up being in hardcover anyway, so I end up getting. But if you get like It from Stephen King, then that will just do the floppy thing all day, like it's flying. It's actually kind of dope. These are pretty convenient. I read these quite a bit. These are mostly I noticed from like Orbit. Orbit does a lot of these kind. I usually try to read these. Like, it's not my first priority. Like, my first one is usually mass paperbacks. Maybe I'm just a weirdo. I think that's what my assumption is. I'm just a weird guy that just likes mass paperbacks. I went book shopping a couple weeks ago, and I told like the clerk that I'm like, oh, she's like, oh yeah, sorry, these are all mass paperbacks. I'm like, this is fine. I love mass paperbacks. And she was like looking at me and then at my girlfriend, and she was like, what's wrong with this man? And I'm like, oh God, I'm sorry. I'm a weirdo, okay? It's official. I'm a weirdo. Who cares? That's like, this is the last paperback. I mean, I'm sure there's other ones, but these are like the 3 that I own that is like pretty normal. And then we got the hard hitter, the hardcover. I'm gonna use wheel time. So same thing, Stormlight of Archive. Look at this massive book. And the best part is, think about it. You're carrying a hardcover like this, walking around with this bad boy, and someone like attacks you. This is a weapon. You just knock someone out with this. You can just like hit him in the face or throat with this thing. This is a brick. And that's like, you gotta think about, like, that is the pro of a hardcover versus paperback. You hit someone with a paperback, they're gonna be like, that's it? This, you can just knock someone out with this thing. That's where you gotta think. Like, you gotta think outside the box with the difference between hardcovers and paperbacks. Hardcovers, you can knock someone out with. It's, shall I say it, perfect, amazing, genius? So now we're going to talk about it. So like mass paperbacks, just paperbacks in general versus like hardcovers, I think they're fine in their own like dimensions. I think people could just read whatever the hell they want. That's kind of how it is. But like, what one you think is better is just more of a preference. But I feel like when you read hardcovers, I don't think people actually want to read hardcovers. Hardcovers are just better on the shelf. They look better on shelves. And usually most of the time they make it so the spines always match. But nowadays they've been doing better with like mass paperback, just paperbacks match on shelves. But usually when you get hardcovers, they get like cool little dust jackets that can all match. Well, paperbacks don't have that. So I feel like people buy hardcovers for the appeal, for the aesthetic, more than anything else. And people do usually just read paperbacks. I know a lot of people that will just buy paperback and then the hardcover the same exact book, and they'll read the paperback and then they'll just put the hardcover up on the shelf. And I always think that's just such an interesting thing. Like, to me, I don't. If I buy the book, usually it's going to come out in hardcover first. So I'll just buy the hardcover and then just read it. I also will read paperbacks. If I really like the book in paperback, I'll just buy the hardcover and get rid of the paperback, because I'm like, I'm never going to read this book again. And it looks better on the shelf. And if I do reread it, it'd be cool to read it in hardcover form. That's like my biggest things when I see these. I think hardcover is convenient in some stances. Like I said, it's a weapon. It's great. It can defend you. But when you're like on a flight or going somewhere and you have to stand or something, it's more convenient just having paperbacks. To me, someone who likes mass paperbacks, it's way more convenient. I'm letting you guys know this now. Like, every time I go to the office, not the office, but when I have an appointment or something, and it's like colder out, you just grab that bad boy, shove it in your pocket. Like, if you're wearing a hoodie, just shove it in there.
What do you mean by that?
Like, look at this. This book is so thin. And you just curl it a little bit. Just curl it. Just whoop, right there. And it's perfect. And then you just nonchalantly slide it out. You just... I actually did that. I had a strep throat a couple weeks ago, and I did that, and the guy next to me like looked at me, and I just nonchalantly pulled out War of the Worlds and just started reading it, and he's just like, it was just so funny. It was like perfect. Yeah, for me, I don't really have a problem with either or. I like both, honestly. In general, I think paperbacks are fine. I think hardcovers are fine. But I just think when people buy hardcovers, it's usually more for collection purposes. The aesthetics look better. Like, I got books behind me that are not hardcover, and you can clearly see which ones just look better. And most paperbacks, after they get damage on the spine, it doesn't look as good. For me, I like seeing damaged spines on paperback. Well, on mass paperbacks, they look really good. I don't know why, I just like the aesthetic that's like, this book has been through some things. I really enjoy that aspect. I think it's fun. If you guys made it to the end of this video, I do appreciate it. Make sure you guys comment and let me know, which ones do you guys prefer? Do you guys prefer paperbacks? And if you do prefer paperbacks, which paperbacks do you prefer? Or am I just a weirdo and I'm the only one that likes mass paperbacks? Or do you prefer hardcovers? Which ones do you guys prefer? And which one do you prefer to read out of? Because to me, mass paperbacks are the best ones. Just saying. Don't knock it until you try it. Just saying. And think about this with the mass paperbacks, dude. You could put so many on a shelf sideways and just stacks. Like right here, if I put like 80 of these bad boys there, stack them right up, fill it up. I can have like a library on one shelf. I think a library is like 500 bucks. Boom, I put 500 math paperbacks on the shelf. Problem solved. Problem solved. And of course, make sure you guys stay safe, stay hungry, and tell someone you love them. I'll see you guys in the next video. See ya.